Howdy, howdy, Devil here, and welcome to my final thoughts video on Shadow Online Gaming's YouTuber tournament. I just wanted to take some time to say some thank yous and maybe talk a little bit about the tournament and tell a few stories here and there. You know, this video is all talk and no action, but I will go over my tournament trailer a little bit and talk about some of the things that I put in there just for fun and some of the games and my experience. And this tournament is still all to play for. Right now, as I'm making this video, there is still Dav plays, John Ton, Janet on occasion, and Turin left to finish their games to get into the finals. And I would highly recommend you go over to Shadow's channel right now, subscribe if you aren't, so you can make sure you're on top of that and you get to see the final outcome of the YouTuber tournament. You know, a tournament with 14 YouTubers is pretty amazing, actually, and it was a absolutely amazing time, really fun. I got to talk to a few of the guys and got to know some of the guys that are in the tournament, and it has really helped. It's just been really nice, and yeah, so you know what, I'm just gonna go through all the players. I'll go through the trailer that I put together a little bit and talk a little bit about some of the sayings I put in there and the channels and why I love them, and you know, why I would highly recommend you go and subscribe to all of these guys if you haven't yet. And then we'll just finish up with maybe a few more stories, and that's it. So I guess I'll go through the combatants. So the very first one I put in there, I put these all in order of the total number of views the channel has gotten. Of course the first one is Turin, and it's a channel that I've been subscribed to a long time. I love his channel. You know, he has a lot of dwarf content, and he really likes the dwarfs, and he plays them in a very aggressive sort of way. You know, it's really fun to watch his builds and watch the games he plays. You know, I put in this for him, you know, one toilet seat to rule them all, because I don't know why he started calling this thing that Mazdamundi sits on a toilet seat, but you know, it struck me funny. And he had one game where Mazdamundi was on his toilet seat and Thorgrim Grudgebearer was on his toilet seat. It was like the battle of the toilet seats. And he really likes Lord of the Rings memes, and you know, one ring to rule them all, you know, one toilet seat to rule them all. I just thought it would be funny. And if you haven't gone and watched games on his channel, I would recommend you do so. It's such a great channel, and he's a community organizer too, and he brings people together. He features other YouTubers on his channel, and he's just got a really great way about presenting his battles. He does live replays, he does analysis, he, you know, watches other battles and commentates them, and you know, and he's an amazing player, like a world-class player. So you get to see something amazing. And when I played him, I had the good fortune to be able to play the dwarfs up against Turin. It was really, really fun and a super instructive battle. And I mean, you got to understand, with all of the big multiplayer players, I mean, they're playing a different game than all of the campaign players. The campaign players don't play multiplayer, and it's a completely different game. And I get it's sort of, for these multiplayer players playing in a multiplayer tournament with YouTubers that are all campaign players, it's kind of sort of like kicking puppies to them, you know. It's not really super competitive games, and that's not the type of thing they usually feature on their channels, because their channels are all about competitive play. But you know, you gotta appreciate that they all came to the tournament and that Shadow got everyone together. I think it's really an amazing thing, and I'm glad Turin came, and he's still in the tournament. We'll see how the rest of the tournament goes. There's some really great games up ahead, I'm sure. So the next player that we had in here is Loremaster of Sotek. So Loremaster, he does so many good lore videos, and he is a big fan of the Lizardmen. That's why I featured the Lizardmen on there. And, just do you know have any idea how many books I've read, Chump? I mean, just because he's so well read and he's so into the lore. And when you watch his lore videos, he doesn't just go over sort of the basic things. He really digs deep, and he talks about characters that maybe aren't so front and center in the Warhammer universe, which makes his lore very interesting. And he goes really in depth into the lore, like, I think in a very unique way, and that's what makes his channel interesting. And he's playing a lot of multiplayer. Like, his multiplayer game he's really strong, actually. And watching him play and has been really fun. And I've spent a lot more time watching his channel on the multiplayer side. Of course, I watch every one of his lore videos, but I've really been enjoying his multiplayer videos too. I didn't get a chance to play Sotek. Maybe someday we'll be able to get some dwarfs / lizardmen action, which I think would be fun. Who knows? But great, outstanding channel. Gobble King, awesome channel. And it's like, I don't know, I just put Goblin. Goblin does not look like an emoji. He's like so funny because his Goblin's kind of like a living emoji. These squigs, they're so funny looking. A very unique character. And he's Gobble King, but he plays every single faction, and he's really a world-class player, top tier. He has tons of analysis, and one of the things I love about his channel is he really does go beyond the multiplayer game itself and puts a ton of thought into the game, the mechanics, how units match up. He does analysis. He has an online multiplayer guide, just a whole bunch of stuff. And the way the scheduling of this tournament worked out, unfortunately, he got really busy in his personal life right when the round robins were ending and going to the playoffs, so he had to pull out. And it is what it is. We all get busy. It is a literal miracle to get 14 YouTubers together to do something like this. So it's pretty amazing that we got everyone together for even the round robins and got them done in a fairly short amount of time. But he, his channel's back online. He's doing best of fives and lots of stuff in there. So I highly recommend you go over to his channel, especially if you like my channel and you love analysis. He does lots of analysis in his videos. He hasn't been doing lots of them lately, but hopefully he'll pick that up soon and get back onto the analysis train, because I really love that part of his channel, and I find it incredibly interesting when he just reviews builds, concepts, units, and matchups and these types of things. So the next player we had in here is Dov Plays. So I don't know why. Just was looking at the Bretonia and I was gonna say something else, but for some reason it just struck me funny that King Lewin would be flying around looking for a parking spot and saying, God, I hate parking this thing. This has nothing to do with Dov. I don't know. It just struck me funny. And Dov's channel is another channel. He's a world-class player, again, top tier, and he also does a lot of analysis. His analysis is a little different, and he goes over lores of magic and unit matchups, and he does a lot of testing as well, which I really, really enjoy, and has a lot of multiplayer matches. And he has very thorough analysis, and one of the things I like about watching his channel is you'll often see after a matchup, he'll go into the custom battle screen and look at the units and talk about maybe ways builds could be improved. And he's, I just like him because he'll talk about a build he's using and say, well, I saw this build here and I really liked it and I wanted to change it a little bit here, or this is a build I thought about this. Like, he's really open with the way he thinks about the game, and he shares that very, very well on his channel. So I highly recommend, if you aren't subscribed to Dov and you really find analysis and really top tier multiplayer level play, go and check him out. He's just an awesome guy, and I had a chance to play him and in the playoffs, first round of the playoffs, and unfortunately, I brought a a highly risky dwarf build up against chaos, and it didn't work out, but it was still really fun, and I definitely enjoyed our match, and I enjoy his channel. It's a really great channel to go watch. So the next one we have on here is Janet on Occasion, and I love Janet's channel. It's just one of my favorite channels, and you know, for so many reasons. I mean, Janet is a really top tier multiplayer player as well, but his multiplayer is quite a bit different in that he takes risks with his builds. I mean, he has a mode he calls Auto Janet, where he'll auto gen battles on ladder, which is like, it's like hardly anybody does that. I mean, he'll do that for fun, and he'll bring builds just because he thinks they're interesting, even though he knows they're off meta or whatnot. And you know, so he's really an incredibly strong player in the multiplayer side, and a really interesting to watch, and that's why I love his channel. And I think if you're not subscribed, go and subscribe. I think you'll love it too. And my very favorite part of his channel is his lore plays. So I love lore, and if you haven't gotten into the lore of this game, I would just highly recommend it. It makes the game so much more interesting, both the multiplayer and the campaign side. To see the stories, this world, this Warhammer world is so rich with lore and characters and stories and this type of things, and Janet presents it in a very unique way in his lore plays, you know, that gives you an interesting background to watch, and he goes through, and it's much more, you know, it's kind of a living lore video where what's coming up is not necessarily dictated by a script, but it's just how the campaign unfolds and some of the characters and units he talks about. It's just fantastic, and you learn so much about it. I really love it. And you know, you can put those lore plays on any time and just listen to them, and you learn about the game, and it makes it more interesting. And Janet on Occasion, so Janet, this is kind of one of the stories, I guess, one of the things that I learned is I didn't really know Janet all that well before the tournament, and you know, obviously I'd commented on his channel. I was an early subscriber because I love his lore plays, and I'm bugging him always to make more lore plays, and he started a new high elf lore play, which I really love. And but you know, you get to know people a little better, and he is a real class act, you know. And I say that, you know, I'm a bit older. Well, I'm older than everyone by quite a bit, actually. But you know, back when I was young, being a class act meant something, and it still does. And he represents that side of the game where he does things behind the scenes, working with players, and you know, being part of helping Shadow out. And you know, he is not outwardly, you know, hey, I'm doing this, or I'm this, or I'm that, or I'm this, but he's kind of one of those guys that he's got a really great channel, and he got involved in this tournament, and he really got involved in it. You know, he really tried to make the tournament better for everyone. Sat down with some of the campaign players who know basically almost nothing about multiplayer. Again, it's a very different game. Worked with them on their game, talked to them about their builds, and you know, to do that, to take time to spend with other people in this sort of format, when you know you're running your own channel and your life is busy and that type of thing, it really says a lot about your character. And he's got a ton of character. So what I put on here, there better be effing tea in the green room. You know, it's funny because if you watch his live streams, he always has tea, and you know, he's from the other side of the world, not the North America side, you know, that other part of the world somewhere where they have accents. And you know, it's kind of an homage to, I don't know why it struck me funny, but to an old Wayne's World story where they're talking about Ozzy Osbourne and demanding 1,000 brown M&Ms before a show and stuff like that. And I don't know why it just sort of, it was funny to me to see Emperor Karl Franz, you know, coming forward. You know, there better be tea in the green room, and you know, as going into battle, talking about the show and everything else like that. I don't know, it struck me funny. It's probably not, but for some reason it just made me laugh, and I thought it was funny. And it's, his first lore play was with the Empire, and is paying homage to that as well. So love his channel. If you haven't watched any of his videos, go over and watch them now. He's just got a great channel, and he's just going to keep getting better. So Jet R, campaign player, runs a lot of great campaigns, and don't forget to buy diapers. Don't forget to buy diapers. That was like, so Jet R, just him and his missus just had their first child, and like 3 weeks before the tournament, and so he came, he played his games and kind of left. Like, he made the commitment to come, and God bless him. He showed up and he played his games and everything else. But he was just there, played his games. We had a quick chat, and I had a quick chat with him, which was really fun. And then he's back to being a dad and a husband and managing his life and his family. But I just put that there to pay homage, because his first kid, the next 2 years, every time he goes out and about to get something or do something, he's going to be chanting that in his mind. Don't forget to buy diapers. Don't forget to buy diapers. Don't forget to buy diapers. So yeah, and congratulations to him and his missus on their first. I think it's a really special thing, and very special time in someone's life. So the next player we have is Scabs. So Scabs Gaming. He has an amazing series. It's called Drinking with Dwarfs. And I love it. It is the best series, the best campaign ever in the history of Warhammer, if you ask me, because, yes, I'm dwarf and I do dwarf content, but it's just a really good idea. He's running a great campaign where he's drinking with the dwarfs as he plays the campaign, and he's got fantastic commentary and a really great delivery. And a lot of people watching this might not be old enough to know who Norm Macdonald is. And Norm Macdonald used to do the news on Saturday Night Live, and he has a really great delivery, very good comedic delivery, and he is my absolute favorite Saturday Night Live news commentator of all time, just because of his delivery and some of the stories you heard about him behind the scenes. And Scabs, it kind of sounds like him. It sounds a lot like him, and so it just makes his campaigns that much funner to watch for me. And he runs legendary campaigns, really strong play and interesting commentary, and he's got a good pace to his campaigns. Very fun to watch, and I would highly recommend anyone go over to his channel and subscribe, even if it's just for Drinking with the Dwarfs. I love that series, and I can't wait for every episode. Every episode comes out, I'm excited I get to go home and watch it. So and unfortunately I didn't get to play Scabs or talked with him a whole lot. We've chatted back and forth a little bit through our channels, but hopefully someday we'll be able to get together for some some maybe 2v2s and Drinking with Dwarves in multiplayer or something, who knows. Next we have John Ton. So John Ton's another world-class player for multiplayer. He is so strong. I think I've seen him as top 40 in the world. Like, he is really, really good. And he runs a channel called Total Brohammer with Sakarma. I don't know if they're actual brothers. Maybe they are. And but John Ton's got a very good delivery on his videos. They're when he describes what he's going over, he also does testing, but he's really super strong play and very interesting play as well, and just a great channel to be subscribed to, because it's kind of like a 2-for-1. You get John Ton and Sakarma both, and they play in tournaments, and they've played 2v2 tournaments and one that Turin put on, and it's a wonderful channel to get comments with. So I thought I'd be a little cheeky, check out my hammer bro with Total Brohammer with the biggest hammer in the game from Kolek. So that's why I put that there. It's my, I don't know why things make me laugh or strike me funny, but they just do sometimes. So love his channel and highly recommend you go over and see it. So Deacon and I have done a few things together, and we've been planning to get together for a co-op campaign for A Dog's Age since November, and we've been talking back and forth about getting together for a campaign. But he's gone through some stuff, and and it's been really hard for us to get together because he's in He's across the pond, I guess, somewhere outside of where North America is, where people have accents. And so we've tried to get together, but we got like a 7-hour time difference, and we can't make the weekends work. So we were able to get together a few times when I come home from work for lunch and quickly hop on. It turns out that every single time I got home and we started, doing some stuff together, we did a little stuff with the Lizardman and, played some games and stuff like that. His kids, it's right at his kids' bedtime. So that's why I put this, come to daddy, serious. It's time for bed, kids. So it seems like every single time we've ever gotten together, it's right around his kids' bedtime, and then it's time for the whole family to go down for the night. So it's just a little homage to that. Zardar. So Zardar he's got a great channel. He's got a really broad spectrum of content he keeps on his channel. Like good multiplayer, good campaigns on Legendary. He does like cinematic videos, and he's coming on. He's out of Greece, and that's where I got this, two-legged featherless animal. So this is maybe not Aristotle. It's a Greek philosopher that used this to describe a human as a two-legged featherless animal as kind of a cheeky thing 2,000 years ago in Greece. So I was just paying a little homage to that. But it was also Middenland was his first Legendary campaign. I think it's the first one I watched anyways, and he had Boris Todbringer. Of course, this is Boris Todbringer right here, and just to be cheeky, I made sure everyone was on horseback and every unit had feathers. I don't know, maybe it's just stupid, but it doesn't really matter. I don't care. But yeah, and his multiplayer game is coming on so strong. He is improving so fast. His micro is out of this world. He controls units all over the battlefield, no matter where they are, and he doesn't forget units. And his multiplayer game is improving incredibly quickly, and I love his multiplayer game. And I had a chance. We played a lot of prep battles together, and I featured some on my channel. He played a quick best of 3 with the dwarfs and played some different factions, and he has really helped me improve my multiplayer game in a short amount of time. Because I've never played anything but the Dowie going into this tournament, and Zardar, every time he had spare time, we'd message each other and get together and play 2 or 3 games, and he definitely helped me pick my starting lineup of all the factions I was going to play, because it's hard to get online and play with these factions, because online they don't have the same rule set as tournaments. So I played the Empire, and I came across this Lizardmen skirmish build where they didn't have one single unit that wasn't a skirmisher, and there's just like these cancer builds you come across, and you can't actually get a feel for what the faction is going to be like in a tournament. So when I was able to play Zardar, he really, really helped me out in developing which factions I wanted to play and my builds and stuff like that. And I've so many thank yous to Zardar. And again, go subscribe to his channel. His channel is going to grow. His game is going to improve. And, hopefully someday we have kind of a campaign planned, which I think he was talking to me about it. This is like incredibly unique, and, might be, who knows, might be 6 months before we do it. It might be 3 months, but it's an amazing idea for a campaign. And hopefully we can get that done, because if you think these campaigns on Legendary are really difficult, this campaign is insane, and it's ridiculous how difficult it is. So, but the idea is brilliant. So I hope we get there, and just bug him on his channel. We got to get together for this campaign. I think it's going to be really, really fun. Black Iron Battles. Man, I love Black Iron's channel, and I love chatting with Black Iron. He's such an amazing guy, and his multiplayer game is really strong and improving as well. And I'm sure those archers will in the back will be fine. That quote is from him, kind of. He talks about, like, if there's one thing he'll forget, he'll talk about forgetting archers in the back, or he'll be like, oh, I forgot him again, and they'll get rear charged. So his channel is really fun to watch because it's got there's no ego. I love it, and his channel is just interesting, and he lets you into his game like very few people can do, and that makes it very interesting for me to learn and become better at multiplayer, because I can watch how he does it, and he's very inclusive in his commentary, and his commentary is really good, and he plays a lot like on meta builds. Like, he's just a really great guy, and I think he's gonna probably be off and away for a while. He's kind of going through something right now, which is their house. They had a house fire, and unfortunately they lost a lot of stuff. I mean, no one was hurt. Him and his missus are okay, which is good. Unfortunately, they had a couple pets get caught in the fire, which is absolutely awful. And so I mean, he'll probably be away for a while, sorting his life out, taking it step by step, rebuilding everything and whatnot. But I'm sure we'll see him back, and could be 3 months, 6 months, a year. I don't know how long it'll take for him to get everything sorted out. But go over to his channel, subscribe, and send him some love. These kind of things really do make a difference when you hear from people. And it's part of the reason why I love comments, because I like interacting with people. And he's not going to be able to put up a whole bunch of videos, but go over to his channel and just like every video, say thanks, we're with you, anything like that, and I'm sure he'll be able to see some of those comments and he'll feel it. Those are kind of those things that help you sort out rough times, is those little nice things that people do for you. It really does help make a difference and an impact on your life when you're going through it, and he really is going through it right now. So definitely go over to his channel, send him some love. Maybe without his channel even being operational, he could get like an extra 10,000 subs or something like that, which would be really cool. Like all his videos, just go through and hit like, and comment on them, and say, just let him know you can't wait till everything gets sorted out and he's back making content again. Definitely would love that. And I had a chance to play him, and it was really great because it was a great game, first of all, and he played how he plays. He's so good. And we were talking in Discord during the battle, and we had a lot of fun. And then we played a 2v2, which was great fun. He talked to me about his game and some of the things he thinks about. And I think we were chatting for a couple of hours, and boy, I learned a lot about how he thinks in his game, and he inspired me to try and improve my channel as well. Just to, we're talking about, improving our YouTube, because we just do this for fun. I mean, this is our passion, and if their YouTube didn't exist, I would still be running units into units, making spreadsheets, and trying to find curves and unit formations and rear charge penalties and all these kind of things. I'd still be doing that just all by myself, and be so it's really great to get to share this passion out into the world. And I love that in my comments I see people who are just like me, that really like to think about these things, and we have interesting discussions about ideas, and it's really strange because in your normal life, what, maybe 100 people fairly well, 300 people in your extended group of people that you have acquaintances with, and you have maybe 20 closer friends. But none of the people you generally hang around or your good friends really think a lot like you. But in this forum and YouTube, you really get to connect with people that think a lot like you, because there are other people out there that are engineers, technical people like me, and that are got kind of that dwarf stubbornness in them and everything else like that. And it's fun to connect. So it's great. So go and connect with Black Iron, and even though he might not respond for a few months or something, I know if he ever just takes a look at his channel and he sees just some good thoughts being sent his way, I think that it does make a difference. So definitely go over and watch his games if you haven't, and watch his channel. He has tons of really great content, like 2v2s, free to play anything, and he's a commissioner of a Blood Bowl league. So I think I'm gonna get into Blood Bowl at some point because of him, and because he was talking about Blood Bowl a lot. So definitely go over to his channel. All right. So next person we have here is Ragnarok Total War. So Ragnarok plays a lot of campaigns, really strong campaign players, and I actually really love his campaigns in that he's a very careful player, and that speaks to me, as a campaign player, and he really likes symmetrical formations, and it's satisfying to watch him play. So I highly recommend, if you haven't gone over to Ragnarok's channel, go and see his games and his campaigns. They're interesting to watch, and they're satisfying to those who like order and structure and that kind of thing, and like to see careful play. That matters. He's playing on Legendary, so the comments. So first of all, I have a high elf because he had, it's just a campaign that the first campaign that I watched of his, and so I put the high elves, and I was looking at this, and I don't know why, but I'm like I said, I'm pretty old. So in the 80s, there was a band called Helix that has a song called Rock You, and for some reason it just struck me funny imagining a elf on a dragon, screaming out an 80s rock song, give me an R, R, O, O, C, C, K, K, what you got, rock, what you gonna do, rock you, just so goofy, I don't know why. So it has nothing to do with Ragnarok except it's rock, and I don't know. It just struck me funny. Go to his channel, subscribe, and at least check out his videos and see if you see what I see when you're watching, that good, careful gameplay and structured gameplay, which is really great. And that's it. So that's and my comments. So for me is, okay, now who is it that let Cousin Nani near Thuri's Gold? So that's one of the things that, if you watch dwarf campaigns, you will periodically hear, when you're kind of mousing over units, you'll hear someone kind of say out of the background, "Don't let Cousin Nani near my gold." I don't know, so that's where I put it, and that's about it. So as far as I guess the thank yous, I want to thank everyone who is in this tournament, still all to play for. Go see Shadow's channel, and I want to thank Shadow. Shadow's a community organizer, and it's one of the things that when you want to support the things that you love, support these people who really do organize the community, because it builds a community. It's one of these funny things that it's worthwhile to go and support community organizers, like Shadow, because they make the game bigger, better, more inclusive, and bring more people in. And I guarantee, if you looked at everyone's content before and after the tournament, you kind of see an increase in content in general. And, because it's inspiring to talk to other YouTubers and that sort of thing. The reason that, these guys that really love to organize people have so much power is they can grow the community of content creators, which can make it better for everyone, and they can find people who are just starting out, or inspire people to get more content creators. Like, I can't imagine how many people are going to watch Shadow's tournament, or or get involved, or want to start a channel because of that, who can grow their channel. Maybe their channel's not going to be the biggest channel in the world, but it will be interesting for me as a viewer to watch. And that's what I see when I see this kind of thing. And that's why I said, when Shadow was like, he said, "We want to play this tournament." I was like, "Oh, I'm not so sure. I can't play the Dowie, but only if you really need someone." He said, "I need you," so I went. and played and put in a lot of effort to try and learn a lot of the game that I knew very little about, so I could at least try and do my best for Shadow. And I made a trailer, and I really wanted to promote this tournament the best that I could, because promote it, like, even if I wasn't in the tournament, I would have promoted it for sure, because promoting these type of people helps our entire community. Like, how many dwarf content creators are out there that might see this tournament and start making some of their own content, even if it's adding to forums or stuff like that. And so thank you to Shadow, and thank you to everyone, and thank you for all the comments. And Gabba had so many great comments as he started writing stories about why this dwarf was commanding other armies, talking about this drunken stupor a dwarf was in, and that's how he ended up commanding a lizardman army and a Tomb King's army. It is so amazing, and there's just so many times I laughed and laughed so hard, and just because it's there's other people out there that are so creative, and it's interesting to be a part of that. And I thank you to everyone for their comments and support, and for just watching in general. Like, this is all talk, no action type of video, so there's going to be 15 people that watch this video all the way through, which is just fine. It's those few people that that I really hope to share this part with, because it's not for everyone, and there's lots of channels that are just all action, and they're for lots of people. This is just to share a little bit of insight into this little world that I'm part of, and a growing part of, and I guess to share some of my appreciation for the other YouTubers in this tournament, for Shadow especially, and for everyone who makes comments. I mean, I love comments. I mean, I appreciate them. I feel them, and they make me think, they make me laugh, they make me make more videos. I'll get comments on this sort of testing, and then I'll think, yeah, that is interesting. I wonder, I wonder exactly what happened. Then I'll go do some more testing, and they could present more videos, and I get to share stuff back and forth, and I just find this as being a wonderful hobby, and I really enjoy letting this creative side of myself out and making some short videos and stuff like that. And I enjoy trying to be precise about how I explain what I explain, and the testing that I do. I think it's unique to this channel. I would love to see massive amounts of testing in videos. If there was someone that just ran units into units all day, I mean, I would watch it, 6 hours a night. That's all they did. It wouldn't have to be dwarfs. It could be any testing against anything else, with spreadsheet work and analysis and, descriptions of value and curves and graphs and stuff like that. I mean, I would just eat that up, because that's how I got started into YouTube. And someone was asking me how I got started into this. It was just because there was no videos that I wanted to see. I was putting in searches for combat analysis and comparative analysis in Warhammer and stuff like that, and I couldn't find anything. So I thought, well, maybe I'll just make some videos. There's got to be other people out there that are just like me, that would really, really like to see this sort of data captured and put into a spreadsheet and analyzed, and to see if there's any information you can tease out of that data. I thought, because it's fascinating for me. Like I said, if YouTube didn't exist, I'd be doing this anyways. So, and sure enough, there's actually a lot of people who love to think their way through these things and look at analysis, and are technical people who really like to consider carefully the intricacies and the details of the game, and the combat mechanics and all these types of things, and that's why the channel is so rewarding for me. And so, a big thank you to anyone who's left comments or watches or or likes or subscribes, or even doesn't do any of those things, just comes and goes, and just thanks. And because I appreciate the comments, and I appreciate all the guys in this tournament, and I especially so to the guys I had a chance to chat with. And not, you don't have time to talk with everybody, but Black Iron is an amazing man, and he's kind of going through it. So I'm sending out some love his way. I really hope he gets some things sorted out. Janet on occasion, amazing man, real class act, and someone that I really genuinely respect. Deacon, I've had some fun with Deacon and going over it. We've had a lot of laughs. Zardar's helped me out so much, and I had a chance to chat with Ragnarok, which was great, and Jet, and Scabs, and all these guys, and especially to Shadow for organizing this tournament, getting together 14 YouTubers, which is a monumental task, and making it happen. It's still all to play for. There's still the final bit of the tournament. Who will be the greatest YouTuber of all time? You gotta hype, right? You gotta hype. Maybe it's not all time, but the greatest YouTuber of all time. That's what this tournament's all about, folks. Go watch Shadow's channel for updates, and hopefully we'll see some great tournament action, and we will crown a YouTuber champion, and it will be exciting and fun and interesting content for everyone to watch, especially me. So that's all I have to say, so I will see you soon.